Hello, everyone. Welcome to the EJG3 show. This is your host, Eddie Elder. Week 15 is in the books. Uh, there were a lot of great games, a lot of breaking news um, after that Sunday. Let's get to it. So, breaking news, uh, on Tuesday, that rookie Michael Penix Jr. will make his first start Sunday against the Giants. So that means that Kirk Cousins is bench. Um, is it shocking? To be honest with you, no, not really. You know what? When you draft a quarterback in the first round, uh, you know that that quarterback is the future. The reality is that Kirk Cousins, um, in the past 5 games, Cousins threw 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions. And to be honest with you, that is not good enough. In Kirk Cousins standards and uh NFL standards. That is a bad quarterback who deserves to be benched. He was not playing well, in my opinion. Uh, Now, am I shocked by the move? Atlanta trying to win that division and get to the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little shocked, and plus with that big contract, 100 million guaranteed. But the reality is, if you're not close to Detroit, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Green Bay, why not just give the rookie a chance to play and see what you got? And I think, Penix, all the NFL experts coming out of drafts were saying that he was NFL ready day one, and we'll get to see. Now, will Kirk Cousins get another opportunity? I'm sure. I'm sure someone out there because this is a quarterback market and you need a quarterback. Now, I get it. He's coming off an Achilles injury. This will be officially year two. But my gosh, his deep ball, his ball overall just looks wobbly. It looks weak. It looks not strong. Um, and look, you were playing against a Las Vegas team that was without Max Crosby, and they're trying to tank, and he did not put up a good performance. And you saw a lot of people in the media, and clearly the Atlanta Falcons pressuring Kirk Cousins, hey, you need to play better. And obviously he wasn't. And, Raheem Morris said that this was a football decision. I mean, I think it is a football decision, but also the owner was like, you know what? Hey, we got to play a rookie, and I'm excited to see what Michael Penix Jr. can do this Sunday. Now, Giants should be an easy opponent. The Falcons are 8.5 point favorites, but I'm excited to see because I don't think if Kirk Cousins started the remainder of the games, I think they could have won 2 out of their last 3. But the reality is, you probably weren't going to the playoffs. I think you needed to win out, and I don't mind it. I don't mind the decision at all. And I never thought Kirk Cousins was a guy that could lead you to a Super Bowl. I think with Michael Penix Jr., at least you have a shot. You have optimism in the organization because Cousins, to be honest with you, he throughout his career he was 12 to 18th best quarterback in the league. He was a guy who could throw for a lot of yards, but when it became the biggest moments, the biggest games, he just underachieved. And I do think he's getting old, and it's okay. Not a lot of quarterbacks can play as long as Brady, Peyton, Drew Brees. That's just uncommon in this day and age. But Kirk Cousins, he was a solid quarterback, but I think the Falcons moving on, going with the rookie, I think that's a good thing, and I'm excited on Penix's development. You know, because I think Penix did learn a lot of things from Kirk Cousins. Cousins is a total pro. So I am excited to watch Michael Penix Jr. And you know what? They have a shot to win that division. If they win out, I think they win the division, but I doubt it. Okay, let's go to another quarterback who had a atrocious performance. Uh, Tua Tagovailoa or Tua. So he was accurate 30 of 40 passes against the Texans, which that's good, but 14 of those passes came behind the line of scrimmage. And by the way, 3 interceptions as well. So let's just be honest about Tua. He is an average quarterback. Don't call him good because he can't beat good teams. He's an average quarterback. Look, I get the injuries, but overall, Tua is average. He's not good. He he's not great. He's average. A lot of why his yards are because Tyreek Hill and Waddle, they're just so fast. That's where most of his yards are coming from. 10 yards, 15 yards, Tyreek Hill, Waddle, end zone. This guy does not have a cannon. He struggles cold weather. He struggles against good teams. I don't know why the Dolphins paid him a big contract. And good for Tua for getting that contract. But let's be honest. He is an average quarterback who doesn't have a strong arm. And that game was there. That game was there for the Dolphins. They had to win out. But the reality is, Tua, I've seen him against Josh Allen. Comes off small, throws interceptions. You can't do that. Versus Mahomes in that freezing cold game. I get it was cold, but he was bad. He was bad in Green Bay during Thanksgiving. Let's stop giving the Dolphins excuses and say, hey, let's be honest about Tua. Not that good. And I'm sorry. And I'm a Tua fan. I hope Tua proves me wrong. But the reality is, Tua just can't throw the football. Down south, you know, small, played at Alabama, had amazing weapons around him. I think without those weapons, he's a below average quarterback or just an average quarterback. And that's what he is. I'm sorry. I'm saying it out loud. And, hopefully he's healthy uh, throughout his football career. Hopefully he proves me wrong. But Tua's just not a great quarterback to lead teams to Super Bowl. Like I said about Kirk Cousins, exact same. Hey, he throws for a lot of yards, but he's around the 12 to 18th best quarterback in the league. And to be honest with you, if you're 12 to 18, you can't win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, you can't. And by the way, the Houston Texans, uh, they cannot protect CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is getting beat up. Um, it looks like he's having a decent year, but like a lot of expectations were like, okay, this guy he's gonna lead the Texans to the AFC Championship game. No, that's just not the case. I think they need a year. I think they need to draft some offensive linemen to protect him. You don't need wide receivers. You don't need running backs. You need an offensive lineman in the draft. I think their defense is good, but I think when you face really, really good teams, um, I think they will struggle, and I think they kind of lose round one. But we'll see who they face. I gotta see if they face Baltimore. I do think they lose. Uh, but Houston will be the 4th seed. Um, but the reality is, Texans they need to protect CJ, or CJ could be injured. Okay, so let's talk about a quarterback who is injured. Uh, so Patrick Mahomes, ankle. He left during the Cleveland Browns game, 4th quarter. By the way, we said it last time on my last show. Jameis Winston, bad decision maker. makes too many interceptions. 3. Now he's benched. Um, but anyways, let's get back to Mahomes. Do you play him versus Houston? Now you have a 2-game lead over the Bills for that number 1 seed. If he's healthy, you play him. If he's not healthy, you don't play him. You're playing on Saturday and then you play Wednesday. I just don't think that makes sense. Have him rest that ankle, try to get him ready for that Christmas Day. Um, because look, Patrick Mahomes is a great player. If you want to get that 3rd championship in a row, you need Patrick to be healthy because he's going to be in another offensive line that's struggling. They can't get their left tackle straight, straightened out. So I think Mahomes should ice up, rest up, and play on Christmas. Because I just think you got to get ready for the playoffs. I get it. You don't want. I get the opportunity to get a by home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but again, you have games, 2-game lead over the Bills. I would rest them. I would let Carson Wentz play. He's a veteran quarterback. Um, so I think you should rest him, but we'll see. Um, okay, so we got to talk about the Eagles. Um, a dominant win, 27-13 over the Steelers. Um, I want to first start off with the Steelers. I don't think they're a good team, offensively, defensively, but if you are up by 10 on the Steelers are not coming back. They're just not dangerous enough offensively. Without George Pickens, you can see the offense is just not that good. And they struggle to run into football. I get it, you're playing on the road, but in all reality, Russell Wilson could not move the football. In both games versus the Browns and now the Eagles. So they gotta figure out that offense. Um, but I want to talk about the Eagles for this segment. Um, Hurts was 35 of 32. I mean 25 of 32 passes, 290 yards. He was dominant. Uh, Smith had 10 catches for 109 yards. Brown caught 8 passes for 110 yards. Even when last week he complained about not getting the ball that much. Um, look, they're dominant and their defense is spectacular. Um, you know, I think Rick Fangio is doing an excellent job, or Vic Fangio. My bad. Uh, but yeah, no, the Eagles are rolling. I want to talk about the Nick Sirianni and Carter exchange. That was weird. It was weird how the defensive lineman, Clint Hurt, um, was like, "Hey, Nick, you're not going to talk to Carter." I thought that was weird. I thought, "Hey, that's your head coach right there. If he needs to speak to one of his players, you let him speak." But clearly, they don't have respect for Nick Sirianni, at least in my mind. Because would they ever do that to Andy Reid, Belichick, or whoever? Sean Payton? No. Mike Tomlin? No. Those are respectable coaches. If they want to talk to a player, they talk to that player. So, and you saw uh Carter just kind of laughing on his own and not really paying attention to Nick. I really do think if the Eagles want to get to where they want to go to the Super Bowl, Nick Sirianni better not screw it up because they do have a talented team. But that's really my only concern is Nick Sirianni. You know, can he manage a game correctly? Do the players respect him fully? Uh, we're going to find out because Detroit Lions, they're banged up. Um, do you really trust Sam Darnold and the Vikings? Um, Packers. So if it right now through 15 weeks, I would say the Eagles might be the best team in the NFC. Speaking of NFC, let's go to Detroit Lions. They lost for 48-42 to the Buffalo Bills. Um, I thought Detroit's offense dominant. Goff had 5 touchdowns. Uh, a lot of people were complaining about Dan Campbell's decision to have an onside kick, and Mac Hollins covered it, ran into the 5 yard line, Detroit's 5 yard line. Allen hit Ray Davis for a second touchdown um, pass. But the reality is, Dan Campbell knew he couldn't stop Josh Allen. I don't. Yeah, it was early, 12 minutes ago. But you know what? That wasn't even a bad kick. If Mac Hollins bobbled that um onside kick, that's probably going the other way. So I get it. Dan Campbell might be a little risky, but you know what? He won games. Sometimes you need a loss. Their defense, Detroit's defense is really banged up, and try to steal a possession. And the onside kick, you had to tell them, "Hey, we're doing an onside kick." So you kind of lose the the lose. Hey, the specialness, the sneak, but the reality is you have to tell the other team, hey, we're doing outside kick, and the Bills recovered it. Hey, what are you going to do? What does suck for Detroit is losing David Montgomery. Suffered a torn MCL. Look, David Montgomery was dominant all season. They do have Gibbs, who is a good running back. Look, I'm not really concerned about their offense. I'm concerned about that defense, because they're really banged up right now. And the reality is that if Detroit's defense don't make stops, they could really bounce out early in the playoffs. And I think that is a concern for Detroit. But Josh Allen uh, had an unbelievable day. He was 23 of 34 passes, was 362 passing yards. Another 11 rushing attempts for 68 yards and a pair of touchdowns. He's playing at an unbelievable level. I think he is right now the MVP favorite. If I'm a Bills fan, I'm also a little disappointed because the defense is not playing up to their standard. I know they had 3 guys from the backfield, not backfield, but defense backfield. Um, DeMar was out, Douglas was out, Rapp was out. I get that was not good. I get it. You're playing some young guys, but giving up 42 and 44 points back to back, that is a little concerning. If I was a Bills fan. Um, but overall, they're one of the best teams in the AFC. I think Allen, you know, and his wide receivers. I'm glad that Kincaid's back, Coleman's back. Those guys, you saw what a difference those guys make because they made some big time catches. Um, but yeah, no, Josh Allen's unbelievable. He's clearly to me the second best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think Lamar Jackson can play like that, even though he's having an unbelievable year with 35 passing touchdowns, um, or 35 touchdowns. Uh, he's also playing unbelievable, but this guy, these last 4 games, from Allen, I've never seen anything like that. I do think he's the MVP right now. Um, and now they play New England, Jets, New England. Hopefully they can win out, get healthy, and hopefully maybe have an opportunity to be number 1 seed. If not, they'll be the 2 seed, and they'll have probably about two home playoff games. And I'm not sure, looking at the standings today, the third seed is not the strongest than the past years. Uh, I thought the Bengals, when they were three seed, they were pretty dominant. Um, the Chiefs, obviously, they won a Super Bowl last year when they were the third seed. So if Pittsburgh stays in the third seed and wins, I do think Buffalo destroys Pittsburgh in the divisional round. Um, but other than that, we'll see. When we get to the playoffs, it's coming soon. Uh, but another great week of football, and I can't wait for week 16. Um, See you next time on the EJG3 show. Bye.